friends, and welcome to Let's Talk About It with Danelle Boyles, and I'm coming to you from the US. This talk task is part of my Rehan AI Teachers Training program to example how we can integrate AI as an assistive tool into our everyday usage of learnings, teachings, and development in an educational format and with knowledge expansion. Today, I am bringing to you a brief review of my most recently watched TEDx Talk, Stop Teaching and Start Learning by I'm going to say this wrong, I always say it wrong, I think it wrong, Mariappan Jawaharial. And in this TEDx Talk, Mariappan Jawaharial highlights in her conversations with Stop Teaching to Start Learning how to develop a perspective of transformation in education. She presents a compelling perspective on transforming education by shifting the focus from traditional teaching and the methods that are in traditional practice to more of a meaningful, student-centered type learning. An organic form of learning is like how I like to think of it. He thinks that students who develop and create in this type of environment has a much more expansive experience in developing their own their own grounds on like how they learn and almost like self-educate, which is something that we talk about quite often. He explains that simply delivering information does not always guarantee that the information is going to be understood or that it is in an understanding type of format. Instead, genuine learning occurs when students are actively engaged and encouraged to ask questions and to collaborate with others and to apply their own knowledge to real world solutions. A central theme that revolves around this talk is that educators should move beyond being the primary source of information and that instead they should become facilitators who create this captive environment that emphasizes that students develop a deeper understanding within them and that they are given opportunities to think critically and to solve problems independently and to learn from both of their successes and their failures. The talk also highlights the importance of fostering creativity and confidence, and that a growth mindset in the classroom is very important. So that you always want to see exponential growth and like no stagnancy in their stages of learning. By encouraging active participation and making learning relevant to the student and how it involves their lives and how it involves the educators can help develop independent thinkers who are prepared to adapt themselves to the challenges of a rapidly changing world. Overall, Stop Teaching, Start Learning is an inspiring, thought-provoking TEDx talk that encourages educators to rethink the traditional classroom, which is something that we talk quite often on, and those practices and how they are requiring an evolutionary flip of sorts. And, it serves as a powerful reminder that the ultimate goal in education is not simply to teach just the content that is like presented to the student, but to inspire a lifelong passion for encouraging growth and knowledge and wanting to step out of comfort zones and to change the content of your learning. But, you know, developing critical thinking, the continuous, the continuous passion for growth and learning that we often discuss and conversate about. As a lifelong learner, you're always developing and learning and growing and moving in this evolutionary, progressive state of never getting bored. So, some of my key takeaways from this conversation that was presented in the TEDx talk is that learning is most effective when students actively participate in the actual educational process. Where they're actively involved in like choices and solutions and developing their own like individuality in what they are learning. That teaching should inspire curiosity rather than focusing solely on delivering information. That educators should act as facilitators, mentors, and guides who support student discovery. Critical thinking and that collaboration and problem solving are essential skills for lifelong success. That mistakes should always be viewed as valuable learning opportunities, and that they build resilience and understanding that there is always a turning point and and takeaways from everything literally, and that the student-centered learning creates greater engagement and confidence and independence. Educators should prepare learners to adapt, innovate, and to continue learning all throughout their lives. And so, this is one of those TEDx talks that I feel inherently that it is something that a lot of people are starting to pay more attention to. They're starting to realize that the old world is kind of like crumbling beneath their feet, and that change needs to occur in our everyday educational foundation. And a lot of education systems are adapting to new, goals throughout how they navigate and manage their students' educational platform. But if this is something that interests you, you should very much go look up the TEDx talk. You can find it on YouTube. And as always, I thank you for joining us, and I hope you take away some wonderful growth and expansion from our conversations. And remember to keep learning and expanding those minds, hearts, and horizons every day. And until next time, namaste. Take care.